Hey, welcome to Level 3 Focus. My name is UltraDavid, and today I want to start getting back to what I most like doing in this show and what I want to do generally, but just, it's been a busy time, which is to get into actually looking at matches and analyzing matches and thinking about, the high-level play that is in fighting games. It's just been a busy time. There was Evo, before that was CEO, and after that was laziness. And so it's been a while since I've been able to actually sit down and really talk about fighting games in a real analytical way. And what I want to do, starting with today, is go over matches from Evo. It's going to be a while until we have very top-level stuff at a major. And when we do, even then, it's going to be another while again. So I'd like to, spend a lot of time, I think, going over matches from Evo in Street Fighter and in Marvel and in Injustice and Cross Tekken, I guess. Maybe Dive Kick even, once that game comes out. That kind of thing, because I think that'd be really fun. And certainly, the play level was amazing, and, we're not going to have a ton of other stuff going on anyway. So I'd really like to do this more often. In any case, today we're going to talk about Infiltration versus PR Balrog at Evo. This was in Street Fighter 4, of course. It was in top 8, and it was one of the moments that stood out to me from Street Fighter 4 at Evo. And the main reason is because Infiltration picked Hakan. He didn't start out with Hakan, but he did go to Hakan in the middle of the set. Eduardo had Balrog the whole way, and that was a big moment. I'm kind of sad that the camera that you get to see when this is happening, you don't really get to see what the crowd was like at the time. There was a lot of jumping up and a lot of noises being made at the time, and other people were perfectly silent and sitting still and not talking at all. It was this really interesting dichotomy in reaction, I thought. So what we're going to do is go over the first couple matches, the first couple games of the match, that is, where Infiltration has Akuma versus Eduardo's Balrog. And we'll talk about what's going on there, and why he might have gone with Akuma at the start. But then we'll talk about how things change when he goes with Hakan. Why he goes with Hakan, what picking Hakan lets him do that Akuma can't do quite as well. And hope to analyze his play a little bit as Hakan. Give some critiques here and there, both positive and negative. So I think it'll be kind of interesting. I really like talking about this. So whenever you're ready, we can get over into the old match here. And by the way, we are running this on Xbox, so hopefully everything will be fine because it's not being run on this actual streaming PC.
Let us know if it's choppy on the stream or anything like that.
Yeah, please let us know. That's right. So, like I said, Infiltration goes with Akuma at the start. He had just seen PR Rog get mopped 3-0 by Tokido, if you recall, who sent Rog to losers. He got dunked. So going with Akuma here, I think, makes a lot of sense. It's both his main character, but it's also his character who just blew up Eduardo's character. So right now, in the corner there, he's out. But you see, one of the reasons that Akuma in this matchup is, it's not a bad matchup for him, but you see what the negatives are. He was caught in the corner for a while, and whereas Akuma can usually count on getting out of the corner, it's not really the case in this matchup. Trying to make some pressure happen. That's a big bet right there. That was for the round. That was for the round right there. If he had lost that would have been, Crouching Fierce into Hurricane into whatever else, or whatever his best combo was at the time. So Eduardo really likes to use Turnaround Punch as a way to get in. He uses it as a meaty attack to try to follow up a backdash or something like that. It's a very go-to move for him. It's a way to get around fireballs. He goes to it a lot. You see him taking the air a lot too. It's something he does a lot in this set. Finds a little snipe. Infiltration had the perfect spacing there. Did you see that? Just outside of the crouching roundhouse range, gets his own sweep. That's some reactions. It's really hard to whiff punish that Balrog sweep, but he has a character with a long enough range thing to do it. And now in this neutral situation for Infiltration, he does have the life lead, so it's not like he needs to make damage happen, but it can be a little bit annoying to actually get in. He's just going to rely on traps, as you can see. Eduardo just waiting it out. He knows he has a lot of super, a lot of ultra. He's very dangerous. Infiltration kind of caught on this second on the left side of the map, and I think Rog was looking for a cross-up hurricane kick right there. Instead, he blocks the wrong way, gets hit by jump roundhouse, and loses the round. So far, there's been a lot of Infiltration getting caught in one side of the screen. Like I said, it's unusual for Akuma, but I do feel like this is one of the matchups where that's a problem for him. A nice safe jump setup right there. I don't think he can do the Dragon Punch follow-up on Balrog, so he goes for the reset. And pretty much mopping him up. Yeah, reset again. There's that turnaround punch like I was talking about. It's a very common thing for Eduardo to do. Again. Trying to play patiently. And at this point, Infiltration very close to closing now. He's not taking big risks. And just goes for the setup. You know, that was at least chip damage on PR Rog, which at that point wasn't going to kill him, but it was an issue. So he goes for the jump, nice setup for the kill. So game 1 goes to Infiltration. Things looked okay. Turnaround punch gets through. This is a problem for Akuma. His life is low, and Rog, you know, a lot of the times he relies on stray hits. Doesn't deal a ton of damage at a time, but he certainly can, and you could see it there at the start of the round. He took off half of Akuma's life immediately. Still caught in the corner. Tough space. Love that double backdash right there from Eduardo to make sure that he kept Infiltration in the corner. That's a major part of Rog's game. You see it when he plays against anybody, but when he plays against Akumas like Infiltration, or we've seen Tokido in the past, he makes sure to maintain that corner control. Oh, nice! Doesn't get the full thing, though. Again, turnaround punch. And following up. And now he can't do an actual super on response to that, unfortunately, because Akuma had Ultra 2 there. He could have canceled the teleport. That is one thing that Akuma has in this matchup for sure, but now he's caught in the corner. Nice risk to take, but pays off for him. Infiltration trying to make it happen with the setups, but just doesn't get the safe jump timing, and there you see the reaction by Doucheface and Charlie.
Since when has Seth become Charlie?
Alright, so... Well, you guys did a great job, as per usual. So, Infiltration and Rog now at 1-1, as far as the Akuma matchup goes. They both have this amazing sense of footsies. And now you can see, again, caught in the corner is Akuma. Rog with just a little bit missed timing on his focus dash pressure right there. Very footsie-based match. You see the mix-ups that Infiltration goes for. You know, obviously he does have the Vortex stuff, but it's not really what he's been going for the most part. I don't know the ins and outs of this matchup and, you know, how the Vortex works necessarily, but it hasn't been something that he's been going for very often. Rog's still a major threat. Yep. Approaching with a turnaround punch. And he takes the round on that. Remember, this is a 3 out of 5 set, as all of top 8 was in Street Fighter 4 at EVO. So Infil's down around. Doesn't get the anti-air right there. Nice! Look at the damage. Look at that. That is a major liability for Akuma. And now he's caught in the corner. And he can't just teleport out. He can't just do Demon Flip out. We've seen Eduardo deal with both of those already. Ooh, focus, nothing else. Wow, that was a really risky regular dash punch. Not an EX. Oh, that's going to be that. By the way, I think that was the first time that I really saw Eduardo use the focus pressure like that. He's really stepped that up. He does that in a way that no other box players do. It's amazing.
Dude, he hit Haitani like 90 times.
Yeah. His Evo play with the focuses was pretty incredible, I thought. So, you can pause it for now, I guess. So, at this point, Infiltration is down on his luck. He's in loser's side. He was sent there. I forget even who sent him there, but it was
pure Rog.
Oh, that's right. It was Rog. It was Rog. Yeah, it was Rog, of course. That was well before top 8. Remember, Infiltration had to beat Laugh to get into top 8 in that really heart-wrenching match. So his tournament is potentially on the line. He won it last year. He's been the most dominant Street Fighter 4 player in the year after that. And so it's down to the final moments, potentially, for him. And so he has to kind of dig deep and think about, what he should do. Think back to any experience that he has with Eduardo or with boxer players in general. Think about whether he thinks Eduardo knows all of his potential characters and how he can use them, that kind of stuff. That's all the kind of things that's going through his head right now. And we'll take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the character that he ends up going with, why he ends up going with that character, and we'll see how the gameplay changes because of that pick. Alright, welcome back to Level 3 Focus, and let's get back over to the match, although don't actually press start yet. So we just saw the first couple games in this set, I guess the first 3 games actually, where Eduardo went up 2-1. He's feeling very confident. Just talk about how Infiltration played that. Very patient, not very many mix-ups. He didn't really go for vortex options very much. He did have one time where I think Eduardo was looking for the cross-up hurricane, but it was a jump roundhouse. And after that, there were very, very few cross-up attempts, very few frame trap attempts. It was mostly a zoning matchup for Infiltration. He didn't seem like he really wanted to go in, didn't seem like he was confident in that. So Eduardo took advantage of that and made it really count when he got hits on Akuma. You could see how much damage he dealt. So much damage, half-life in a couple of situations on that relatively low-life character happened pretty quickly. Whereas for Infiltration, dealing a lot of damage as Akuma, it can happen, and there was one sequence where he ended up stunning PR Balrog, but other than that, it's mostly individual stray hits, that kind of thing. And whereas Akuma can usually be a mobile character, against Balrog, that's not necessarily the case. He can get caught in the corner, and Rog has pretty good options to follow him if you were to teleport out. Just dash into sweep is an option, turnaround punch is an option. He can actually auto-correct super or ultra as well. He does pick Ultra 2 in order to make it so that Rog can't, super or ultra, make something obvious against his teleport, but still, Eduardo can punish it, and we saw that Infiltration went for very few teleports when he was caught in the corner. He did try Demon Flip, but very smartly Eduardo did dash back twice once to try to maintain that corner control, and it worked. So he was caught in the corner, he was caught on one side of the screen a lot of the times. He's down 2-1. Remember, he lost to PR Rog in the winner's side much earlier in the tournament too. So now he's on the ropes. He has only one potential game left, and he could lose the tournament. So let's get into the match. Now, he has another character, of course. He has a couple more characters. He plays Gouken, he plays Ryu, but he plays Hakan, too. And we've seen him occasionally go to it in moments like this. I'm thinking of SoCal Regionals, where he picked Hakan against Hugo 101 in the Grand Finals. So he's done it before. And, Eduardo knows about it, too, because he's played against Infiltration's Hakan before. They had pretty long online sets about a year ago, maybe a little less than that, when Infiltration was in the U.S. And so he knows a little bit about it. He knows a little bit about the character, too, because there's a guy named Kimo up in North California who is a pretty good Hakan, too. So he should know a little bit about the matchup. But, in hearing him talk later, in a really nice interview done on evilgeniuses.gg, he talked about it a little bit more and said that he's feeling screwed right now. You can see it on his face, too. He doesn't look happy. And it was because he was so confident before in the Akuma matchup. He's played against Akuma a ton of times. He's done well against Infiltration in the past, too. He had beaten him in the tournament earlier. So now this is a curveball that he's got to deal with. And you can see he's looking, he's trying to nod and stuff, but he looks a little bit more nervous than he did before. He doesn't look quite as into it. He doesn't like grapplers in general, is a major thing. I used to play against him as Geef, and he hated that. He just doesn't like having to deal with a character who has a grab because he feels like Rog has a tough time. So that turnaround punch is a risky move in this matchup. It's not directly punishable by Hakan unless he has Ultra 1, but to be close against a character like Hakan is risky. And you can see a couple things already. In fact, let's just pause. Thank you very much. And rewind a little bit if in Possible. Come on, Xbox. Oh, that's kind of funny looking.
I should be able to rewind a little faster than that.
But why does it just keep it on the same?
Know.
That's really weird looking.
Oh gosh, so is that accurate then? Let's see.
Oh wow, it actually is. All right, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
People don't know that much about Hakan, so I guess I'll just talk about what he can do a little bit. Actually, just pause again. Whatever. Why not? What he can do when he has oil. He can focus and then cancel that into a dash, of course, and then cancel the dash into any normal. And so what that effectively means is a couple things. So he can absorb one of your attacks, and then almost immediately within I think 5 frames, I forget if it's 5 or 6 frames, he can have his own normal out that you have to deal with, crouching short or stand jab or stand short. They can come out very, very quickly. And so what that's used for is, if somebody's trying to pressure you too hard with a single hit normal, like a sweep or like a jump roundhouse or jump fierce, something like that, you can just absorb it and have your own normal for the opponent to deal with almost immediately. In fact, as an anti-air, it works well enough if you time it right that even if the opponent lands and is trying to mash out a dragon punch, they can't get it. They just have to get hit by your crouching short. So it's a really good option. As a just backdash normal cancel, he has invincibility on the backdash, of course, which he can cancel into the normal. So if you have some other normal that you're using as a meaty attack or as some kind of, whatever the option is, he can blow right through it because he has invincibility and then his own normal right after that. So he has a couple of really good things. His command grab range is gigantic. His damage is really, really good when he's oiled. When he's not oiled, of course, he is worse. He has much worse command grab range. He doesn't have access to backdash normal canceling or to dash normal canceling at all, which is a big nerf to his game. But he still does have this EX command grab that you have to deal with if you're trying to pressure him. He has a couple more things too. His slide is good against Rog, although that doesn't come up that much as far as how Infiltration plays. He has some normals that can deal well with Rog. So he has some options in this matchup, and as we talk about it, as we see it go, I will point those out and I guess talk about my feelings on the matchups overall after this. So let's get back into this thing. Thank you. Again, not necessarily the safest opening, but it's something that Eduardo really likes to go to. And there you see, Infiltration tried to make him pay for it, and even though the grab doesn't work, it's at least something that Rog's going to have to remember. So Hakan runs out of oil at 89 seconds at the start of the round. To get another one like that at pretty much the start is really nice. Pressuring with stand jabs. Crouching jabs don't link into each other, so I'm not sure why he's doing that, but stand jabs can. It's a really nice whiff punish. Although a nice whiff punish right after that by Eduardo too. So now without oil, Hakan does not really have the best get-off-me options. He still has Ultra 1. He still has the fact that he has this really weird hitbox too. And then, again, we talked about turnaround punch all of the last set when he was playing against Akuma. But now that he's playing against Hakan, that is a free punish. And you can see on Eduardo's face that he remembers it now. It's an instant grab. Turnaround punch is, I think, -1. So, you can see it right there. Infiltration blowing up, something that he's seen Eduardo go to a lot. And going with the jump pressure, yeah, Hakan can deal with that. And I wish that Infiltration would deal with it a little bit better. If you see that the opponent is jumping like that, you just get a free slide under him. It's a great anti-air. Is the super. Got sped up a lot. It's pretty useful now in AE 2012. But now he's going to get cornered, and without oil, too. This is a pretty bad look for him. And nice read. He can get out of the corner, and he doesn't. He can just do roundhouse DDT. So, as Infiltration is playing this, don't think that he's playing the world's most perfect Hakan. He definitely can step up his game with this character. He does a good job, obviously, but he's got some issues, too. Great opening round right there. Hakan has this giant reach, and I guess Eduardo knew that. There's the focus backdash normal here. Just rewind it so people can see what that looks like. Yeah. That's probably fine. Oh, maybe not?
Yeah, I guess I should go back.
Yeah, go back a little bit more. Go to like 10 maybe. That's fine. Yeah. Focus and almost immediately in normal after. Oh man, it's so good. Yeah. You want to see it again?
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
Okay, fine. Nah. And now watch right after this. Focus, anti-air. And he thought that Eduardo was going to jump back, so he goes for DDT, but oh well, doesn't work out, I guess. The counter to focus backdash normal cancel is a grab, but oh well. So okay, the reason that this works, this anti-air Ultra 1, this is something you only know if you're a Hakan player. You can pause it. Is that his Ultra 1 has one more active frame than the other 720 grabs. And so, whereas normally you can't beat a safe jump with a 720 Ultra, if you're a Geef or Hawk, you can with Hakan because he has 3 active frames, and so you can land into it. And Eduardo clearly didn't know that either. He gets blown up by it because of that reason. So Eduardo's, already we can see a little bit of how this has forced him to play differently. His favorite pressure tool in turnaround punch, not really as much of an option now. His safe jump setup's not as good. You can see a lot more mobility in terms of where they are on screen with Hakan because that's just kind of how Hakan is. And even though Rog gets more pressure on dry Hakan, overall Infiltration's done well. So let's go back to the game. Thank you. He oils up a little bit. He goes in for the pressure. Yeah, that's pretty free. Nice read. And very light pressure. If you're Hakan, you need to be a terrorist as people are getting up. That's your game. But hey, it works out. And he just waits for the jump. Now, Eduardo, in that interview that I mentioned at evilgeniuses.gg, mentioned that he was jumping a lot. And I mentioned at the start, he was jumping a lot against Akuma too, but in situations where it kind of called for it. Not so much in this matchup. Against oiled Hakan, I don't think that jumping is the answer because he just has really good stuff to do to beat it. Awesome set of counter pokes going on right there by Rog, and now this is a really bad look for Infiltration. Caught in the corner still. He's trying to find crouching jab into slide or something like that, but it doesn't work out, and caught in the corner finally, and Eduardo makes it count. This is now match point for him in this 3 out of 5 set, trying to move on and loser side of Evo top 8. Again, grabs him, probably out of focus. And no more oil as he gets up. Great blocking. Crouching strong is actually a really nice normal. Yeah, that's a good response. Yeah, you can't just focus like that against oil Hakan. That's just not going to cut it. Hakan still playing patiently here, waiting for something out of Eduardo. And it's weird because Eduardo definitely has the life advantage, so he doesn't necessarily need to go in. At least he keeps himself safe right there with the tap into FADC backward. And this is such a nice setup. Let's talk about this setup. I actually hadn't seen this before, and that was really cool because that doesn't happen too often when I see Hakan play. What in the world? Okay, back up a little bit more, I guess. We'll talk about the full setup before this, I think. This is the weirdest.
I know.
Why is it doing this? The Xbox is crazy. So watch this. Yeah, that's so nice. Towards strong, FADC, crouching jab. And then so after the jab pile driver, he does, I think, a medium kick oil. And that leaves him enough time to see whether Balrog is trying to get right back in. And so he visually confirms whether there's a dash punch from Balrog because the setup that he has allows him to just sit there. He can't move. He has a free 720 buffer right now. He's doing it right now. And he's just waiting. What'd you do on wake up? Oh, you did a dash? This is a free Ultra 1. It's the biggest command grab in the game is Hakan's Ultra 1 in terms of range. It's the same whether he's oiled or not, but It is the biggest. Doesn't quite get the kill on it. And then I don't know what Eduardo was going for, but whatever it was, it did not pay off. And so now we have match point for both. Oh, no whiff punish right there. And now no more. Oh, that was so key. If you're playing against Hakan, you got to know when his oil's about to run out. And not to pressure, not to give him an opportunity to get it back. Nice, fastest air grab, by the way. It's 2 frames. And again, nice response. He sets out. Oh, did he get him? No. You know why? Because it was a counter hit crouching short. Oh, man, that breaks my heart. Oh, that's such a big risk to take. Not really punished as badly as it could have been. There's a ton of delay after that headbutt, and Infiltration didn't make the best use of it, but still doing okay. Oh, Eduardo again! And then nothing, just a crouching strong. My dude. Why? And that's a free punish, and that is that. Man, Eduardo, when I was watching this, part of me was rooting for Infiltration, of course, because I just like Hakan, but the other and bigger part of me was rooting for Eduardo because he's my friend, and I really wanted him to do well. And he did do well. He got 4th place at Evo, but I wanted him to go as far as he could. And I wanted him to pick Fei Long, because I do think that Hakan beats Boxer, but I think that Fei beats Hakan. I just think that Fei's control of the ground is too good for Hakan. He just demolishes Drycon in a way that most characters don't, and he's mobile enough to still threaten Oiled Hakan too. I wish that he had done that, but he didn't. He was much more confident in his Boxer. He got up 2-1 against Infiltration. He beat Infiltration earlier in the tournament too, so it's not like he didn't have cause to be confident in his Boxer play. In his Boxer play, yeah. But it would have been nice if he had gone for Fei just to see how it worked. But I understand why he didn't do it. It's a big moment. You don't want to risk your Evo life on a character that you don't feel 100% cool with. So, but as far as Infiltration's play, so he is a good Hakan player, and he's very smart about when he goes with that character. But he doesn't maximize things. He, like I said, could have been sliding away from pressure when Rog was going for jump roundhouse, rather than having to just deal with it with an air grab. He could just get away from it entirely. It's something that a Q player like me knows how to deal with. You got it. If you're not dash punching when somebody jumps over you like that, you're just going to get blown up. So it's something you figure out. And he didn't go for it. He didn't really have great pressure. He didn't seem to have great setups for the most part when his opponent was knocked down, but he did have a good fundamentals kind of Hakan. He had some whiff punishes that were good. He had the basic mix-up kind of things, and he had the definitely good use of focus backdash, normal canceling. I thought that was good. I loved his setup to deal with the dash punch as Boxer got up. I thought that was really smart. But he's not maximizing things, so he can definitely do a lot more with that character. He can have meaty slides, which are really bad for Boxer. It beats all of Boxer's options, including blocking. It's safe on block too. So he has a lot of good things. But I don't know. I guess he didn't really need to bring it out, because the biggest problem I think for Eduardo was that he.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Cat. Was that he didn't really know the matchup, which surprises me, because I remember him playing against Infiltration, and I know that Chemo is in Northern California, and so I expected that he would know more about how to deal with the character, but it just didn't really seem like it. You could see the nerves on his face. In the interview afterward, he talks about that as well, and it just didn't look good for him. I really like that Infiltration goes with Hakan when he gets this kind of read. It's not even necessarily about the character matchup. Again, we saw it in SoCal Regionals against Hugo 101, who was playing Yun. And I think that Yun does really well against Hakan. I think that he beats Hakan. But the reason that Infil went with Hakan in that matchup is because he just expected that his opponent didn't know how to deal with the character, and he was right. So he gets these good reads on people. And it's a good bet that your opponent won't know how to deal with Hakan because he's just too rare of a character. But I do hope that as Infiltration continues to show that he is not useless, that there will be there will be more people playing the character. I hope he doesn't get buffed too much in Ultra Street Fighter 4 because that could be definitely a problem if he does. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that actually. I hope they don't go too nuts.
I still think Hakan's going to be like top 5 in next game.
It depends on if it's anything significant. Like he's going to get pushed up there. Yeah, for sure. I wish that Eduardo had gone with Faye, like I said, but he didn't do it, and unfortunately for him, that was that. Infiltration then ends up getting pieced out, and of course the grand finals, if you recall, was Xian versus Tokido. And Xian ended up taking it. I really like watching Infiltration's Hakan. It's always fun. So, all right. Let's see. Any questions or anything about the character or about the matchup? All right. I mean, whatever. Actually, I don't know how delayed we are. That's definitely an issue. Okay. He constantly whiffs towards strong. Is it safe when oiled? It's not ever safe, unfortunately. But it is nice because it allows you to focus dash in for safe pressure. And if the opponent stays still and your toward medium punch whiffs, you can. It's a movement forward into command grab, kind of like Zangief stand roundhouse into command grab. And on block, it's not punishable necessarily from that distance. It's just not safe, so not entirely safe. So it can be kind of a tick in the command grab too. The input for the oil parry, it's not a parry necessarily. It's just focus, backdash, normal cancel. It's literally focus, then you do a backdash, and then you press any button. It's not that hard in theory, but it does make Hakan one of the more execution-heavy characters when you really get to a high level and you're doing really cool things like focusing the first hit of a dictator scissor kick, backdashing through the second one, and punishing with stand medium punch linked into crouching jab into whatever.
So Mr. Masters, he doesn't understand. You said when that counter hit low short and Ultra didn't grab.
Oh, why didn't that work? That's a good question. Yeah. So there are different lengths of time that as the person getting touched that you have to sit there when you get touched. So if you block a move, you have to sit there only for a certain number of frames. If you get hit, you have to sit there for a few more frames. But if you get counter hit, you have to sit there for even more frames than that. And during that time, you're not throwable. And so if you get counter hit on what the command grab player thought was just going to be a block, the command grab player would have to wait much later until you're in a throwable state than if you had just blocked. So what Infiltration expected was that PR Rog would block, and then he would do an Ultra 1 when Rog was out of, or when Rog was again free to get thrown and to move. But instead, since Rog got counter hit, the Ultra 1 was done too early, and that as a result, Rog got to jump out of there.
Yeah. So N1 special is like, did PR Rog do that on purpose?
No. That would have been amazing if he had done, but no. And in fact, if you're Eduardo in that situation, and you get counter hit, you don't necessarily know that you didn't get grabbed because maybe you didn't expect to get counter hit. But don't jump backwards. If he had just done a normal jump, he would have been able to convert that into a lot of damage. So if you expect a command grab like that, or if what in fact happened was Eduardo saw the command grab and held up, and because he was counter hit, he got to jump out. Don't jump backwards. Just do a normal jump, a neutral jump, and you get more of a punish that way. So, kitty. The counter to the focus backdash normal cancel is just throw him. You can throw him out of the focus part of it at the start. The counter to that is for Hakan to just do a backdash normal cancel. Of course, you're not throwable during the backdash, only during the focus, so if you just do a backdash, you're good. Alright. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah. Alright. Okay, well, so tomorrow we're going to come back with a normal Tuesday show. We'll be talking about whatever is the news of the day. And by the way, I'm getting a lot of our old videos up on YouTube. I think I've gotten something like a dozen on there so far, but there are about a dozen left too. So
some of them will be talking about news from like 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, so try to look at like what the episode number is, or I always include the date that the episode was broadcast originally. So look at that. If I just put up like a final round episode where we break down final round, you know, so. Heads up for that. That's at youtube.com/UltraChenTV.
Hey, EBT Muffin Man, can you text me if that's actually you? Because I'll mod him if it is.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, as far as the haiku contest goes, man, that was some lawyerly language.
You should explain that one.
So I put up a Twitter contest that says, "Want to help mod our stream? Tweet a fighting game haiku to us. Best entry before the end of the night. Might win." Not only is might in there, indicating lack of certainty, but win doesn't explicitly refer to anything. So you might have done this completely for naught. Nah, I mean, there were a lot of good entrants, and I'll give some of you guys mod. Why not? But anyway, thanks a lot for that. So, okay, I guess we're done. We'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Later on.